Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another Eagle Forum Capitol Hill update. I'm Tabitha Walter, the political director of Eagle Forum. Now, remember last week when we told you that COVID funding was stripped from the $1.5 trillion omnibus? Well, Democrat leadership is still trying to figure out a way to pass it as a separate bill. Even though $4.6 trillion remains unspent from the $14 trillion that the federal government has previously allocated, the president requested an additional $22.5 billion. Now the White House is fuming at House Democrats' inability to pass it. Even though Democrats blame Republicans for blocking COVID funding, it was their own members who were the obstructionists this time. Progressives were really upset because of the offsets included in the bill. They would rather raise taxes than cut unnecessary programs to fund their projects. Then the White House took their side. White House COVID-19 response coordinator Jeff Zients chastised Congress by saying, quote, "We requested Congress to provide these funds as emergency resources without requiring cuts elsewhere to offset them that would jeopardize them moving forward, as lawmakers have done multiple times on a bipartisan basis under the prior administration. I want to be very clear. Additional funds are necessary in the very near future to avoid disruptions to ongoing COVID response efforts," end quote. He then threatened, quote, "severe consequences if they don't get the job done." Now, these consequences were not elaborated on, but this may be the president's warning that he will blame them when they lose the majority in November. We all know there is a much larger list of bad policies depend on the Democrats. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi wants to vote on part of the COVID funding this week, but has not specified which part. However, there is barely an appetite to pass it as it currently stands in the House, and no appetite in the Senate whatsoever. Senator Chris Murphy from Connecticut said to Punchbowl News, quote, "Once we lost it in the House, it was tough to get back. I don't know if those House members deluded themselves into believing there was some other path, but I think it's hard to find an alternative path than the budget," end quote. Besides the unnecessary spending, there is more to the problem that Democrats continue to ignore. The Secret Service has opened more than 900 cases to investigate COVID-related money fraud. They estimate that $100 billion in COVID relief was misappropriated, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. Bloomberg reports that only 23% of the $800 billion Paycheck Protection Program was allocated to workers. A whopping $87 billion for emergency unemployment funds were misspent, and $3.5 billion was given to dead people. Democrats have been touting their success of helping the American people during the pandemic when the money was going to the wrong people due to the lack of proper checks and balances in place. The money that was stolen could have saved taxpayers billions of dollars. But now we are paying the federal government to clean up their own mess. Therefore, Speaker Pelosi and her caucus have no business passing additional funding for COVID relief. Eagle Forum will keep an eye on any COVID spending bills that come to light in Congress, and we will send you information on how to take action. So make sure you are signed up for our emails and alerts at eagleforum.org. Thank you for listening to this week's Eagle Forum Capitol Hill update. From your house to the State House to the White House, this is Engage with Eagle Forum.